Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sacred Geometry Academy. Thanks a million for joining us on our three-part mini-series on the Sri Yantra. This is like a video series we put together, which is basically addressing the transformational potential of the Sri Yantra, one of the most majestic yantras of all. And we've put together three succinct videos for you to enjoy. And the purpose of this mini course is quite honestly, it's our way to share with you this sincere passion we have for this particular archetypal shape, in the hope that it would sound alluring and attractive and fun enough for you to come and join us on our 8-part mega course that we've put together, which is going to be our second live course. We had our first course at the end of last year. It was unbelievable. We did nearly 50 people came and joined us from all around the world, and the feedback was outstanding. So that's the spirit of what we're doing here. And
Jeff, I just want to interject that we're also offering a one-day intensive on the Sri Yantra and that's designed so that if you don't happen to have 8 different days in a month to devote to this workshop, but you could just schedule one day on a weekend, then that would be a better way to go for you. To have that intensive experience all day, so that's another option that's available.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of like just out of the blocks with our Sacred Geometry Academy project, and it's going really, really, really well. We're so excited. We've devoted this particular next series of live courses to the very, very special Sri Yantra, because it's one of the most majestic, magnificent, rich geometric archetypes of them all, So anyway, the overview of this mini series that you're going to enjoy is, in this video, we're actually just going to explain what a yantra is, or at least our understanding of what a yantra is and how that fits in to sacred geometry, quite simply. And then in the second video, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the specific qualities of the Sri Yantra. And in the final video, we're going to talk about ways of deepening your relationship with this archetype, specifically in the attempt to activate deep inner experience, which is kind of like the essence of everything Scott and I do. But before we do that, I just want to give a brief introduction. I'm Jeff, speaking from Ireland. This is my dear buddy and brother,
Scott Onstott in Victoria, Canada.
Why don't you intro yourself, Scott, first, and say hello to everybody?
Yeah, hello, everybody. I'm one of the co-founders of Sacred Geometry Academy, and we have a lot of different courses now available. Some of them are pre-recorded, and we're also offering these live workshops. So check out our site, see what's available after you enjoy this free mini course. And so I have a passion for sacred geometry. I've had it for a couple of decades now, and I found Jeff as a real like-minded individual, and we are putting together this offering for you to understand what sacred geometry is on the first superficial level, but then to get deeper and deeper into the mystery as if it resonates with you. It's something that is really transformative, and we get raving reviews from people who've taken our workshops, and so check it out, see if it's something that you might like as well.
Just, Scott, can I share a little bit of our journey together? So we're kind of like two sacred geometry fans, that are like seeking a sort of deeper meaning to life. And we've sort of like been plowing our own furrow all of our lives, to be honest. And about 10 years ago, Scott published and wrote and created this beautiful video series called Secrets in Plain Sight. And I watched that and loved it and connected with him. And we've subsequently done live workshops here in Ireland a number of times. They went really, really well. And there's been this sort of like beautiful kind of like soul connection between Scott and I since, and Scott has a brilliant kind of analytical mind, and he's very mathematical. He's also deeply philosophical and spiritual, to be honest, but he brings this ability to articulate the specific, I suppose, left brain, would that be fair, Scott? Qualities of sacred geometry. And my journey with sacred geometry has been more right brained. It's like I have hosted these workshops here in Ireland and actually around the world, where I invite people to come and have a kind of a deep qualitative inner experience working with the creation of sand mandalas. And it's just been a really, really rich part of my life, where initially I was having these deep and profound experiences personally. And then I wondered, could I share this with people? And then I started hosting it in workshops. And I was just lifted up and blown away when I witnessed in others these profound experiences occurring because of the power of sacred geometry. And so what Scott and I did our first workshop, it was on the squaring of the circle. And it was like a beautiful reflection of kind of both these attributes that contribute to the study, the experiencing of sacred geometry. So we're kind of we're trying to put a theme together for each of our workshops, either one day or the 8-part modules that we're doing. And we have chosen to study the Sri Yantra, or to present the Sri Yantra as the kind of the title or the theme of this next series of workshops that we're doing. And a lot of it is just intuitive, Scott. Like, why did we pick the Sri Yantra? Why did we choose this one over every other archetype we could have gone with?
It's really an amazing archetype. It's a very powerful one, and it's kind of like the Yantra, or the big yantra, the most powerful one, maybe. And that's why they call it the Sri Yantra, like the most honored yantra. And what is a yantra anyway, Jeff? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so like so the yantra in its traditional sense is like quite similar to the concept of mantra, which most people might be familiar with, but or if you're not, a mantra is essentially like a seed syllable or a sound that very often meditators use to sort of like induce a trance-like state, And so you're given this sound to meditate upon. And then what you have is you have this repetitive kind of repeat, through the repeating of the mantra, you kind of like enter into your inner world, and you kind of open to the dimensions inside yourself. And each mantra, because it's a sound, has its own frequency, has its own vibration. And so you're actually beginning to meditate upon the vibration of the sound. That's in case of a mantra. So I like this way of explaining what a yantra is. So we then just take that analogy, and instead of it being the sound, it's the visual representation of a particular frequency or a vibration is what a yantra is, So it's a very specific diagram. And in the tantric tradition, there's like over 900 specific yantras that are drawn by the adepts to directly interact and communicate with their gods and their deities and their sources of inspiration. Now, this is probably a good time to say, Scott and I aren't like Buddhist scholars, and we're not Sanskrit scholars, and we're not coming from, we're not trying to pretend to be anything that we're not. We're kind of sacred geometry fans. We have like kind of a Western lean. I'm from Ireland, Scott's from Canada. And we just got this huge reverence and passion for the power of these yantras, and their capacity to influence consciousness. It's really remarkable.
But what we're seeing is coming through our own cultural lenses, influenced by our own life histories. And we're not coming to it from the traditional culture in which these yantras developed. So we are privileged to, explore these archetypes and to share them with you. But just be aware that it's our interpretation of them, rather than coming from the mother culture that generated them initially.
Yeah, exactly. That's an important point to make, Scott. But then so yantra is essentially, the way I interpreted it, it's a specific geometric diagram that's encoded with specific qualities, that when you meditate upon this yantra, when you reflect upon it, and when you allow your mind and psyche be absorbed by its qualities, you begin to come into harmony with the qualities of the yantra. And there's this beautiful thing that kind of happens, like it's like this principle of like attracts like two tuning forks coming together, and you begin to resonate with the qualities of the yantra, and it's through this communion with the qualities of the yantra that you begin to evoke a deep inner experience, you know. And so that's really the core theme of our workshop, isn't it, Scott? That we want to create a space where we can explore together the qualities of what this yantra has to offer us.
Yeah, and in some way, we because of our past experiences with sacred geometry, I think we're very aware that it has a universal appeal or quality to geometry. It's something that it doesn't really have the cultural baggage. When you're looking at the pure geometry, you're just allowing it to work on your consciousness in some way. And it's kind of a mysterious, ineffable process that I can't really articulate. And that's why it's not a mental, intellectual exercise. It's something that you have to experience. I can't underline that enough. That's the point of it, is you have to actually draw it yourself with a pencil on paper, with a ruler and a compass, to fully unlock the potential of this kind of yantra. And when you do that, some amazing transformations can happen inside, as you go deep within.
Yeah.
You
Beautiful, Scott. And like, I'm coming from a place of like, I've had a lot of personal experience with the Sri Yantra. You know, it's a mandala that I've made individually and done my own personal kind of deep meditations with. I've also shared it live at workshops. In fact, one of the live workshops Scott and I did here in Ireland, the mandala we decided to create together as a group experience was the Sri Yantra, you know. And so we do have some kind of like concrete experience of what this particular geometric shape is capable of, you know. I'd also like to say, like, there's kind of a textbook, if this makes sense. You know, I just want to honor this wonderful lady. She's called Madhu Khanna, who wrote this book on yantra, you know, the tantric symbol of cosmic unity. And even though it's not like an academic course in any way, I got so much gold from the beautiful presentation. Now, Madhu is a real academic, and she's a real sort of specialist in the ancient traditions and origins of the yantra, you know. And I just, I've drawn so much from this particular book that it will be an influence in the course, you know, and maybe even like a recommended reading. It's a pretty hard book to get. You don't have to get it to enjoy the course in any way, but I just wanted to sort of share with you, we will be diving deep into, you know, some of the philosophies, some of the traditions that sort of illuminate the qualities of this particular yantra, you
and
know.
I think those traditions just add another layer of appreciation for this geometry, you know.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to know that, but I think that it aids in your deeper understanding and appreciation. So it's worthwhile exploring those traditions.
And I think what we'll be bringing, Scott, is kind of like, you know, our own portfolio of experiences, you know, with the yantra. So for example, you know, the Sri Yantra is like based on 9 interlocking triangles, you know. Isn't it 5 pointing downward and 4 pointing upward, Scott? And you discovered, or I know we're both aware of, you know, the large triangle is exactly the same as the triangle, the ratios and proportions that give you the Great Pyramid, for example. And so we're going to use that as a kind of a lever to kind of, you know, explore the significance of that, or the coincidence of that, or the interesting that particular triangle seems to be so dominant in the shape, you know, just as an example. Yeah.
That's right. And I think in the next episode, we'll address the specific qualities of the Sri Yantra in particular. But we just want to turn you on in this video to the potential of all the yantras to transform your consciousness in some way. And just to let you know, we've chosen the Ur Yantra, you know, the most important yantra in a sense, the Sri Yantra, for this workshop. And so we'd like to, we'll go into the details on that in the next video.
Yeah, and we'll speak about some of the, I would say explicit qualities of the Sri Yantra, that are kind of irrefutable and they kind of line up with the sort of academic study of the Yantra. And then we'll also speak a little bit personally about like some of the experiences that have happened for us, which is really very, very profound indeed. I'm talking specifically about this dance between emptiness and form, or Shiva and Shakti, they call it in the traditions. But this particular yantra speaks to these principles of creation in a really profound way. So I think, will we leave that to the next video, Scott, and we'll do a deeper dive into those specifics there.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So hope you enjoyed this video. It's just a little taster. Please join us in video 2, where we'll share a little bit more about these specific details and experiences that we've had. And we should mention video 3, Scott, as well. In video 3, we're going to kind of share with everybody how you can really benefit from working with these shapes, are some of the ways that we've cultivated to sort of like develop meaningful ways to sort of come into harmony with the qualities of these archetypes. Yeah.
Sounds
That's great. In video 3. Brilliant. Thank you, everybody. See you in video 2. Yeah. Nice one. Cheers.